Welcome back to more Donald Duck Goin Quackers, everyone. This is Nintendo Gen 64 here, and today we're gonna do Huey's track and whatever that other level is there. I don't know the name off the top of my head. Yeah, so this is part 2 of this Let's Play, and I should be finishing 2 levels in this part and getting up to the boss, which I'll do in the next part. Yes, that's a perfect way to build hype right there. Now, this level is a 2D side-scroller, if you couldn't tell, which is interesting simply because of the fact that, like another game, Lilo and Stitch Trouble in Paradise, this game mixes 2D and 3D levels. So yeah, you got like I think the ratio is in every home world there's 2 2D levels and 2 3D levels, and a boss level and some kind of like a chase level or something. So yeah, it's a very regimented pattern this game has going on. I don't really like the 2D levels that much because I think for the year, what year was it, 2000, I think gamers were a bit more intelligent than this in the year 2000. They know what gaming should look like and what games are capable of, and 2D was going the way of the dodo by this point in time. So that's could be a reason why this game wasn't as successful. I don't know. This game may have been very successful. I don't really know. I can't really comment on the success of this game. I'm not like an expert on how well it did financially or critically. I could look that up and tell you in the next part if you want. Whatever. So yeah, the thing about these levels is that it looks like you can possibly move in kind of some 3D, range, like forward or back, like in Crash Bandicoot, but you actually can't. You can only move along this 2D, like, area, basically. It does have the model for, like, when he's running forwards or backwards, but you don't actually move anywhere, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, this jump here is kind of tricky. Right there. And, yeah, so I think this, what's this level? Huey's track? I don't know who Huey is, unfortunately. Had I known who Huey was, I might be a bit more, enthused with this level, but as far as it goes, I don't know who Huey is. There's the orb for that one. Kind of tricky to find, I guess, but not too bad, and I think that means we're almost at the end of this level, yeah. These 2D levels aren't too long, because they do get repetitive, like I said, and I think they were aware of that, at least, so they didn't want to make the player too, bored, I guess. So this is putting me to sleep right now because it's just the same thing over and over again. But, I think the later levels do get way more interesting. These are just basic foresty levels, which you have to come to expect from a 2D platforming. Yep, I died, if you couldn't tell. It's a moose here. Yeah, I don't know what those guys are. Like I said in the the last part that I didn't know what they were. I still have no idea what they are. Like ducks in like some bush or something. Yeah, there's no bonus for getting every single star in the level, so you don't have to worry if you miss any. Okay. Right. So I think now I'll go back into that level and get the time trial light, I think. I don't know. It should be red, really, when it lights up, but it's actually blue. I don't know. They really dropped the ball on that one, I think. They had an opportunity to emulate traffic lights, and they blew it. Okay, here we go. I do remember this one being not very difficult, but my words will probably come back to haunt me in the end. So, yeah, here we go. Yeah, see those are the skunks there that run back and forth. That's kind of, like, confusing, especially when they run in the 3D plane, because you can't actually move in the 3D plane. So, you could literally stand there while they move behind you in the background, and they won't hurt you, but as soon as they come into, like, the mid-ground, they actually will. So it's kind of confusing and disorientating in a way, because they can move in 3D, but you can't for some reason. Also, I think they just reused the 3D model as well for Donald here. I don't think it's some kind of new 2D model, because like they have the animation for when he's doing like 3D like that. So I think the camera's just zoomed out, and they also put him in default 2D mode, I think. Actually, I can't remember. I think you can see this perspective of Donald if you're doing the I may be mistaken about that. There's a couple bear traps here. I don't know why exactly. There don't seem to be any bears around. Yeah, see that jump there's kind of a bit of a pain. Yeah, you can just make it, I think. So, you know, this game, the 2D jump, double jumping in this game is kind of interesting because, around the late 90s to early 2000s, if you were making a platforming game, you had to have the double jump. It was imperative that you had the double jump. Now, in this game, it actually doesn't come into use that much in just regular gameplay. Like, you would mostly be using the double jump if you want, you know, to speed up the gameplay or something, or do something faster or something like that. So, really, the double jump is quite useless. Especially, like, look here, when have I actually needed to properly use the double jump? Can you tell me? No, you can't. Right, and you know. There's the end of the level. Made it with bingo seconds to spare. Okay, cool. The next level I think is slightly more interesting than that Boar Fest. That's called Huey's Track. I can't remember the name of the next level, but second here. Yeah, it's Dangerous Cliff. Oh, wow. They couldn't have thought of anything more interesting. They should have just gone to the thesaurus and looked up, like, a synonym for dangerous and a synonym for cliff and just, like, I don't know, perilous, can't think of anything. What's another word for cliff? Perilous rock face? Yeah, that could work. In fact, I think I would have preferred Perilous Rock Face, because you don't really... And yes, this music, if you can actually hear it, because I think I got it turned down quite low, is the exact same music from the last level, and possibly from the 2 levels before that as well. I'm not entirely sure. This music is so uncatchy that it doesn't even, you know, stick with me after I finish listening to it. Like, there are some games where you can just sit down and, like, listen to the soundtrack to them, but I can't imagine anyone sitting down and listening to the soundtrack, to Donald Duck Quack Attack. There's nothing inspired about this music. It looks like they just gave some guy like $100 or something and just said, write me some music for this 2D platformer, 3D platformer, whatever, that you play as Donald Duck in. And the guy's like, oh, okay, and then he did it. This ain't winning any Grammys anytime soon. Okay, right, yeah, as you can see, I've got 16 lives now, which will definitely increase as the game goes on, because the amount of times you die is minimal, but the amount of lives is maximal. Like, they give you way too many lives in this game, and it's way too easy to get lives as well. Like, you only need to get 100 of those star things to get lives, and I think, like, they have certain values assigned to them, like the ones that are like red, I think, give you 10. 5. That's also another thing they ripped off, Muppet Monster Adventure, because if you remember in that game there's the evil energy, which are stars, and they have different values assigned to them, and yeah, assigned to them as well. Okay, cool. Right, we're almost done this level, I believe. This level's alright, I guess. I kind of prefer it. It's probably my favorite level from the first Homeworld, warproom, whatever you want to call it. What have you done? Okay. This black screen is getting on my nerves. There was actually like a loading screen for it, but my emulator settings aren't right or something. Or maybe it's the ISO I'm running. But yeah, actually we could fight the final boss now. Not the final boss, the first boss. But let's do this first and then fight it. Or we could do this first, and then the next part go to level 5, and then fight the boss. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Save the boss till last. Or actually, I don't know if you can do that level until you beat the boss. I'm not entirely sure how this game works. No one knows how this game works. No one cares how this game works. I bet you like this game, like when it first came out, it was like Like they didn't have any advertising for it or anything. They just like stuck it on some shelves and in hopes that some kids would pick it up because it's a platformer game featuring Donald Duck, who is no one's favorite video game character. Like, not to insult whoever came up with. Who in their right mind would say Donald Duck is their favorite character in any video, any cartoon? Really? Like, there's so many better ones to pick from that you decide to put Donald Duck in. Like, why? Was there a huge resurgence of Donald Duck around the late 90s, early 2000s that you just had to make a game about him? Because he's also in Kingdom Hearts as well, for some reason. Like, I get Kingdom Hearts is like a Disney game that features a lot of characters, but he's very prominently featured in that game for some reason. Like, why? What's up with all the Donald Duck love? I never understood it. Like, he's not as interesting or funny or like attention worthy as Daffy Duck, and I don't think Daffy Duck got too many video games that feature exclusively just him, so I don't know. I might write a letter to the board of ask them politely why they decided to make a Donald Duck Goin Quackers game. Not to say this game's terrible or anything, it's just dull. Yeah. I'm really selling this game as a great game, aren't I? I'm really boosting the nostalgia factor from your childhoods by telling you how great this game is, aren't I? That's not how I roll. Anyway, so that was Dangerous Cliffs, or Dangerous Cliff, and that was Huey's track. In the next part, we're going to talk to this red duck. I don't know his name. He might be Huey, I don't know. And then we'll fight Bernadette in Bernadette's Peak. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then, guys. Goodbye.